104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. Super Bowl 52, Radio Row, Mall of America in Minneapolis, and we are joined by our favorite Vegas insider from BrandenLang.com. It's Branden Lang. I want to point out that off the air, you gave me your 200-dimer of the Eagles upsetting the Vikings and getting here, and it basically has paid for all my fun this trip. I just want to point that out. I mean, if I was a betting man.
I appreciate that. They don't come along as easy as that. As a handicapper, you almost don't trust it. You're so positive about it. You're so sure about it. You almost question that it's going to win. That Vegas for the second week in a row would make Philadelphia a home underdog. Oh, they struggled against Atlanta, though. Understand, when your coach knows he's got the win, offensively, they'll dial it down a little bit. It almost cost him on that last drive, although Philadelphia hasn't allowed a point in the last 2 minutes of any game this year. That tells you their D-line rotates 8 guys for the whole game while they're fresh late. I was a little nervous because then when you have Philadelphia +3 and Atlanta scores, here comes a 2-point conversion, now it's a push, a win, you buy the half, whatever. They got the stop. But at the end of the day, Minnesota was in a bad spot, a really bad spot. And off the emotional win, going to Philly, they were just primed to get blown out. And give Nick Foles credit, 26 of 33, 352, 3 touchdowns. We're in for a good Super Bowl.
So that line, Eagles-Patriots, opens at 7, jump quickly to 5.5. Would we have seen that same thing if the Patriots were playing the Vikings? Would the Vikings have been closer, like a pick-em? Would they have been a bigger underdog if they had played it? Where do you see that going?
3.
Okay.
Would have been 3. But here's the funny thing about it. In the divisional round before those games were played, you could have got the AFC -3 against anybody that the NFC was going to put up against them. All of a sudden, Nick Foles, Philadelphia wins. Line opens up 5.5. Guy puts $10 million on Philadelphia at the MGM. Line goes down to 4.5. Here's the kicker. Westgate came out and said, Carson Wentz was your starting quarterback, this game with New England would be a pick-em.
Wow.
So is he really worth 4.5 points over Nick Foles? There you go.
Branden Lang with us right now, Radio Row, just having some fun talking about things. What happens to you? Like, do you turn into a pumpkin right after the Super Bowl and pop back up when college football starts?
No.
What continues to happen?
College hoop.
Yep.
Last night, Illinois, Chicago goes on the road against Wisconsin, Milwaukee, getting 3.5, 4. I love the Flames in this situation. You're like, Lang, Illinois, Chicago, how do you handicap that? They just played 14 days ago, Illinois, Chicago at home, got the double-digit win. I said, you know what, they're going to be in this basketball game, won outright by 18. So it's college hoop after the Super Bowl, which I love handicapping more than anything else. We're on a pretty good roll there as well.
BrandenLang.com to find out all the information as well. Now, you've done the Radio Row, Audio Avenue, whatever they call it. How many Super Bowls have you gone to, and what does your record look like when it comes to the big game?
Well, this is my 3rd year coming to Radio Row. 2 years ago, Denver over Carolina. Last year, obviously, I got the miracle comeback with New England over Atlanta. Probably shouldn't have won that game. Hell, 3 years ago, probably shouldn't have won New England over Seattle. But thanks to Malcolm Butler, who I'd probably have his kids after saving me in that game right there, we'll take it. So 22-3. The 2 ties, of course, New England, Green Bay, 35-21, fell on 14. And then the Rams and Titans fell on 7, 23-16. So 22-3, going for 4 in a row. And as you mentioned, it happens to be 200-dimer number 4 in a row. So we're going go big or go home this year.
So that obviously is at BrandenLang.com. You want that information.
And it's up right now, and you can get it absolutely free with the one-day free all-access pass. So if you've gone to BrandenLang.com and you've used your one-day free all-access pass, call up a buddy. Say, dude, your IP address, just go sign up. It's absolutely free. And get Lang's 200-dime number 4 in a row. He loves the Super Bowl winner. He's 22-3. Got to go Langer the Banger. Langer the Banger. Banger!
Well,
Banger!
Now, Branden, if I'm not mistaken, your kryptonite is no longer in the league, and that was what, Peyton Manning, right? Like, didn't Peyton cost you like at least 2 of those 3?
No, Peyton cost me 1. Tried to cost me the Denver-Carolina game,
right,
with that horrible pick in the first half, towards the end of the first half. But their defense did come through with me. The other one was Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh. where, if you remember that game, I had Pittsburgh plus 3.5. There's 5 minutes to go in the game. It's a 3-point game. Green Bay's got 3rd and 12 from their own 19-yard line. If Green Bay picks up a first down right there, now they're on their own 32. They're going to run it 3 times, take the clock down to the 2-minute warning. That's your final. Except Jennings read a slant. Polamalu and Ike Taylor didn't make the tackle. He squirts it up to the 42, and the next thing you know, they kick the covering field goal with 1:12. So Mike Tomlin is on my hit list. That was number 2. And number 3, which was, in my opinion, was the only wrong side I've ever been on, was Denver. You're right, Denver over Seattle, where I was just on the wrong side. No shot whatsoever. So that's pretty much the only Super Bowl I've actually picked where I felt like I was wrong was Denver-Seattle.
I love the memory. Like that's my favorite thing about you, Branden, because, like, yeah, sure, you break them all down and you do the homework and you know, you don't put the 200 dimer on anything unless you're almost positive. But it's like when you sit there and go, this is why. When I got that one wrong, Mike Tomlin did this. You remember the exact thing that happened.
But do the losses stick out more than the wins? Or
sure, especially when it comes to Super Bowl, because that's the one selection that's defined my career. I mean, nobody out there. This is the funny thing about it. People say, "Oh, he went 14-0 before the movie came out." Okay, well, guess what? I'm 9-3 after the movie came out. I don't know about you. That's pretty damn good. I mean, I could see where after the movie came out, if I'm saying I'm 14-0, I could say I'm 4-5 or 6-12. Oh, no, 9-3. You know, we'll roll the dice with that.
Branden Lang, BrandenLang.com. Is there any factor in this year's Super Bowl that if it happens, like if Gronkowski does or doesn't play, if this happens or that happens, that you're looking at going, okay, that could change my mind, or are you so dialed in right now you're set?
No, nothing's changing my mind. I had this winner pick 5 minutes after the line came out.
I love it.
Literally. And I, you know, again, the game's at BrandenLang.com, but I'll ask a question. And it's the same question I said to people from Minnesota, Philadelphia. And if you can answer this question correctly, you'll have your winner. And here it is. You look at Eagles' offensive line and the Patriots' offensive line. You look at the Eagles' defensive line, you look at the Patriots' defensive line. Who, in your opinion, has the better offensive line and the better defensive line? And if you answer that question correctly, based on what you've seen, you got your winner, folks.
I love it. BrandenLang.com. It's free to get the 200 dimer.
And we got a couple prop bets for you. You can never Lang of the Bangers never leave your listeners without giving you a couple prop bets.
What? All right. Can you share one prop with us? Because I've got to pick a prop bet to beat Goz in our personal competition.
I got 2 for you.
Okay.
Will Al Michaels say the word Rocky?
Philadelphia.
He's plus 180. If you don't think the Eagles being an underdog and Al Michaels is going to reference Rocky Balboa in the first 5 minutes, you're absolutely crazy. You can win, Rock! Plus 180, he mentions Rocky. Next one. Over under how many times they mention Tom Brady's age. The over-under's 5. There's no way they beat that dead horse. Under! Plus 110.
Love it. Branden Lang, BrandenLang.com. 200 dimer on the Super Bowl itself. Go there. Get it for yourself. Don't miss out on this one. 23-3 after Sunday?
23-3 after Sunday.
Love it, man. Thank you for making time. We appreciate you.
Love you guys, man.